Wow. That's how I'm going to preface my analysis, but just simply saying, wow. That's all you can say about this trailer. DC is definitely here for business. Marvel officially, I can call it now, officially have a contender for the throne. And this trailer literally has shaken the internet and shaken the world. It literally blew up the internet when it came out. And last week, there was an interesting statistic which came out from Screen Rant where they said that the most viewed movie trailers this year, number one was Star Wars The Force Awakens teaser trailer 2, which had 67.8 million views. At number 2 was Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice official teaser, 57 million views. And then beneath that was Jurassic World at 27 million. That's a 30 million gap. And Terminator Genisys, that's at 19.7. That's like a 10 million gap. And then at number 5 was Ant-Man at 17 million views. Now, these statistics are interesting because if you look at it this way, the Star Wars Force Awakens teaser trailer was trailer 2. It was the second trailer. And Batman v Superman, The Dawn of Justice, the first trailer was just a teaser. But it had so many views that it was competing with the Star Wars official trailer 2. So if you look at it this way, this trailer which just came out is the official trailer. The first one was just the tease, but this is now the first real trailer of the movie. So all those who didn't like the first one, I'm sure that after watching this one, your opinion has changed. And now let's get straight into this. I've got a lot of ideas, a lot of theories, and a lot of them are different from what you're hearing on the internet right now. So let's get straight into this thing immediately. It starts off with the logos. Warner Brothers DC.
Today is a day for truth.
I'll stop it right there. Today is a day for truth. And in the context of the movie, this is Holly Hunter. She's playing a senator who seems to be presiding over a hearing concerning Superman and probably the Metropolis tragedy. And automatically, I like that because for the first time in comic book movie history, we are going to address the consequences of a previous film. And that's one area I can fault Marvel in particular, in that they've had tremendous destruction at the end of their movies, and literally afterwards, they just go and have a shawarma, and it's forgotten. In Avengers, New York, S.H.I.E.L.D. sent a nuclear bomb to New York, and it was never addressed from there. Who authorized that? We don't know if it was the president, if it was the Senate. We don't know who authorized a nuke being sent into New York, and it was never discussed ever again. And then if we look at Thor 2, Thor destroyed, London was trashed, but it was never discussed ever again. But for the first time, we're getting a movie that's dealing with consequences, and that's what this movie is about. It's all about the consequences of what happened in Man of Steel. Today is a day for truth. So in the context of this movie, this is Holly Hunter just presiding over a Senate hearing, and they're looking at this. And in the context then of DC, the DC cinematic universe that was launched with Man of Steel, I think this line is appropriate, that this today is a day of truth. This trailer is a day of truth for DC and what they are building, because after Man of Steel had a lot of mixed reviews. There's some people who loved it, some people who didn't like it, and there's some people who hated it. And there were some people who had various views about it, but the opinions have been quite polarizing. There's those who are fans of it and those who are significant haters of it. And this particular trailer was a day of truth, because after the first teaser, again, the bandwagon haters came out again complaining about it and talking all types of rubbish about it. But this trailer, when I saw this part, I just said, for real, this is definitely a day of truth. I really felt it that, okay, DC, you better bring it on. You better come out with this trailer. There's no trailer after this trailer. This is the day of truth. This is the trailer. You better make it happen. You better close this. You better silence all the haters and all the critics. You better silence everybody. And boy, did this trailer deliver. It silenced everybody. And notice how she says it. She says it's a day of truth. And there's a little exasperation at the end of the sentence in her voice. And there's been a lot which has been spoken during the panel. Zack Snyder said that he really wanted Holly Hunter and that this role was just for her. And automatically, we can see that she's going to deliver on a certain emotional core. And this is thanks to Chris Terrio. David Goyer, the writer of Man of Steel, he wrote some type of draft. And then when Batfleck got on the project, he brought in Chris Terrio, and Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder began to recreate the script. And Chris Terrio, based on what Jesse Eisenberg has been giving him all these plaudits, he's been saying that the main strength of Chris Terrio is he brings an emotional core to the characters. And I think that's what this woman is here for. You can even see it right now in her sentence. There's an emotional exasperation that comes, and we're going to see a deep emotional core to the characters of this movie. It's not just going to be cartoon. It's not just going to be some cartoon or some comedy hour. It's going to be a deep movie with deep characters, with deep feelings and it's really going to be good. And it's a day of truth. And when she said that, I'm telling you, when I was watching this trailer, I just felt like this trailer is a make or break trailer, and they better deliver. And boy, did they deliver. So then after she says it, the next shot.
Today is a day for truth.
And in the next shot, we've got Superman. He lands right in what looks like Washington, D.C. This looks like Washington. It looks like some government, looks like the Capitol. And as he lands, he's landing in the middle of what seems to be a anti-Superman protest. And firstly, before I even get into the details of this shot is just gorgeous. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful shot. And I think Zack Snyder, I have to give Zack Snyder props, and obviously give Larry Fong, the director of photography, for this movie. He has worked with Zack on Watchmen, 300. He has worked with Zack on Sucker Punch. He's Zack Snyder's guy, but he was not on Man of Steel. The director of photography for Man of Steel was a man called Amir Mokri. And so you're going to see visually the aesthetic is going to change. You're going to see Zack at his best, because when Zack and Larry Fong work on something, visually we're going to see a totally different movie from Man of Steel. For all the foolishness concerning the issue of color saturation, there was some people who came up with this video. They came up with this video, right, where they were just saying, imagine Man of Steel if it had more color and all this nonsense. For all that nonsense, just look at this opening scene. Just look how beautiful this is. And this is not shaky cam. This is not shaky cam. This is one huge, great shot. And I like what Ben Affleck said at during the Comic-Con panel. He said that when he was coming in to shoot a scene, he was always amazed at how Zack Snyder would shoot a scene. He would literally just take one shot. He would be thinking of taking different cuts and different angles, but he would just take one flowing shot, and it blew Ben Affleck's mind to the point where Ben Affleck said, you know what? We're in good hands. And I want to tell you that this movie is in good hands. Now let's get into the details of this shot. As you can see, Superman is landing in the middle of an anti-Superman protest. From this angle, you can see about 9 posters that are anti-Superman. If we start from the left, we have one in green and white, which tells us, which says, "Tell us about aliens." The one next to it says, "When invasion becomes reality," and you can't read the other part of it, but it says something becomes duty. The other poster there is saying Superman equals illegal alien. This seems like This seem like Donald Trump supporters, eh? Aliens are un-American. They seem like Donald Trump guys. And it says, tell us the truth about aliens, another one. This other one says, this is our world, not yours, which is reminiscent of some of the sound bites we got from the first trailer, where you heard someone saying, this is our planet. This is our world, not yours. Aliens doom nations. Another poster. Earth belongs to humans. And then this one says, God hates aliens. And then there's another one next to there. There's like a Superman shield with a Nazi swastika symbol. And they seem to be like two. They're a bit obscure, but they seem to be two which seem to support Superman. One says S saves lives with the Superman sigil, the Superman logo, which stands for hope, and meaning S saves lives. And then there's another one here. If you look very carefully at the far right, with it's written share the planet. But based on what you can see in these posters, the majority of them, by and large, are anti-Superman. So in this movie, for the first time, we're going to see Superman fighting. Superman's biggest challenge this time is not really going to be Doomsday or Batman. He's going to face his biggest opponent cinematically, which is going to be an antagonistic public opinion, because Christopher Reeve's Superman had an easy ride. Everybody loved him. I mean, there was never a time people were against him, only when he in part 3 disaster where he became a bad guy and was drinking in a bar. But in terms of this, for the first time, he's fighting his deadliest opponent, which is a public sentiment that is antagonistic to his overtures, a public opinion that is against him. He's never had to fight that before. He's had an easy ride. So this Superman is in for a bumpy ride. How do you help people who don't want your help and construe your help as a threat and construe your help as something that is negative? And that's what we're going to see this Superman deal with. And so he lands right here. Beautiful shot. And then they show us the back.
The world needs to...
And then they give us another shot of Superman. Now we see the frontal of Superman. And we can see the protesters behind him. And if you look very carefully, like if you look at the left of Superman, I can see just Lois Lane, just based on her dress code. But though it's a blurry shot, next to the police officer there, I think that's Lois Lane there. She's also there in the crowd. Superman is about to enter the Senate.
The world needs to know what happened.
As he's about to enter the Senate, and I like that line. The world needs to know what happened. And this is a beautiful shot of Superman. The suit looks good. So I like this line. The world needs to know what happened. And if you think about it, only Superman knows the details. Only Superman and Lois Lane know the details of the finality of Zod. And legally, there's some questions now. If we're going to look at legal matters in terms of Superman, how do you press charges against an alien for killing another alien? In what court do you try him? And this Senate is hearing this, and these are some of the questions the Senate are dealing with, in that Superman, he has killed an alien, and he's not from this planet. So in what court do you try him? Is there some legislation where you're not allowed to kill aliens? Are aliens considered people? Are they considered, what are they? So those are some of the difficult questions, and that's what I like, and that's the realism which DC is going to bring to the show, in that yes, it's a comic book movie. So the only unrealistic thing is going to be the superpowers of Superman, of Wonder Woman, of Aquaman, but in terms of the consequences. So that's what I think Kevin Suchiara was speaking of when he says our movies are going to be edgy and have realism. The realism is going to be in the context of the consequences, not really the powers. The expression of the powers are going to be fantastical and mythical, but the consequences of expressing those powers in the context of a real 21st century world are what are going to be expressed in the movie. So Superman goes into the Senate.
And to know what he stands for.
and he walks in like a boss.
Very dangerous.
He walks in like a boss. He's looking good, and I like the way you can see the color scheme changes from outside to inside. He's now in the Senate there, and this hearing is going to be very interesting. I'm really curious to see what Superman says. In this trailer, Superman says nothing. And I like that because, in a way, if you look at the title Batman v Superman, I think Superman is reserving the right to remain silent and allow his actions to speak for themselves. And I like that because, in a way, again, it's very mythical. It's similar to the messianic elements of Superman, where when Jesus was being persecuted and being crucified, he never said anything. He just walked in, and Pilate and all those people did their thing. But here is Superman. He walks into the Senate. He is quiet, and the Senate, and even look at Superman, man. He is Superman. But for him to even submit to this hearing, it's a sign of his character. That's why he's walking in there. He's very quiet, and that's the kind of Superman I know. That if these puny humans call him, he's still going to show up and participate in this thing. Right. Okay, and then from the Senate, we get our first OMG moment. We get the reveal that during Man of Steel, Bruce Wayne was in Metropolis during the Battle of Metropolis. Oh man, this is a perfect touch. This is a perfect touch. And as you can see, there is Batman. He's looking up in the building there. And there is Zod firing his lasers for the very first time. And now, oh man, this is an ingenious way to connect Man of Steel to this movie. And I hope they do this a lot in the other movies, where certain scenes get repeated somehow in the next movie. I think that would be a unique way to distinguish DC from Marvel in terms of, I love the way in this shot we have Bruce Wayne. And in my opinion, this would be the perfect opening scene for the movie. This would be the perfect opening scene where you've got Bruce Wayne. He's just, you don't know if Bruce Wayne is in Gotham or if he's in Metropolis, and there he is, he's just driving, and then this happens. This shot is just beautiful. So Bruce Wayne is on the phone and he is watching he's watching this building being destroyed right in front of him. I love the look on his face while he's on the phone. And this is my theory of what's happening here. Bruce Wayne is on the phone speaking to someone he knows inside that building. There's someone in there who's phoned him and is probably connected to him. Someone he has a backstory with. Someone okay, just for the sake of it, maybe make it a love interest. Make it the equivalent of the girl who Joker killed in The Dark Knight. And he's there on the phone, and they phoned him and said, Bruce, I'm in trouble. Something is happening in this building. Can you come help us? Something. And as he is looking, the person is screaming. And as the building is collapsing while he's on the phone, it will be so dramatic if the person who's speaking to Bruce Wayne on the phone dies, my goodness, while he is in the middle of the phone call. And Zod shoots his lasers and that building crashes and they come out. And I like how they just mirrored this. They took this next shot straight from Man of Steel as Superman and Zod are flying out of the building, which Zod, please watch me very carefully here. It is Zod who fired those lasers. It isn't Superman who fired those lasers in that building. It is Zod who fired those lasers in that building. Because Zod just found out, oh, I've got laser eyes too. And he didn't know how to use them. And if Zod was still alive, this was an accident. This was literally an accident. But but let's blame Superman. Like they said, the records say it's his fault. So this would be a good opening scene. This would be a very good opening scene. And just the look on Bruce Wayne's face, as the emotional core of this movie comes shining through. I was really touched. Just when I saw that, I was really touched by it. It really touched me. And then here's this classic moment where we see Bruce Wayne running to the danger. I mean, you've got people, normal people, bolting like Usain Bolt, running like running like they're being chased by something, and there is Bruce Wayne running in the opposite direction, running to the danger. They're running from the danger, but he's running to the danger, and that is what is. And I think this moment, if there were any bad flag haters still lingering, this moment literally silenced them all, because without watching the movie, you can see that they understand who Bruce Wayne is. So kudos to Zach, kudos to Chris Terrio, and kudos to Ben Affleck. This, as Batman is running in this 9/11 type of ash mist, oof, it touches your heart. It's just incredible. And it just shows the heart of Batman, that he's got no fear and wants to save lives, even if his life is on the line. And then from there, as soon as he comes there, we see another touching shot. This time, we see him hugging some little girl. Now, what would be amazing is if the person he was speaking to on the phone is somehow the mother of the child who he's holding. And I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that this is the moment where we're told already, for those who don't know, that in this movie, Bruce Wayne has retired from being Batman. He's been through a lot of things, which we'll deal with later. And this is the moment where the Batman who had retired is reborn. At this moment, when he's holding this child, I believe that's when they're going to also put in the flashback scenes, which they recorded, and people are just tripping about. But anyway, this is a perfect opportunity that as he is holding her, he starts to get flashbacks of what made him Batman, that his parents got killed, and it's for these defenseless ones that he has to be the heroes. And I believe he makes a promise to this child: you're going to get justice. You're going to get justice. You're going to get justice. In this moment, ladies and gentlemen, the Batman is born again. He's born again.
Let the record show that this committee holds him responsible.
Oof, what a powerful line. Let the records show that this committee holds Superman responsible. And it's amazing how they just, this was just genius, you know. Sometimes, okay, I know. You might not like DC, you might not like Batman, you might not like Superman, but at least be able to be objective and recognize genius when you see it. This is not Comedy Central. It's not Age of One-Liners. This is artistic, because as they're saying that, they're showing Batman, who also holds Superman responsible in that moment. And then we see the logo of the Wayne Financial. So this was a Wayne Financial tower that came down. We are seeing Chris Terrio's writing prowess on display. This is not going to be one-liners and quips a la Marvel. We're going to see a script that stimulates you on an intellectual level. We're going to see a comic book movie that has an intellectual gravitas about it. So get ready for this. So this Wayne Financial logo is showing us that this is a Wayne Financial building in Metropolis. Now that's interesting, because we are used to Wayne buildings being in Gotham. But now we've got a Wayne building in Metropolis. And Zack Snyder explained this during the Comic-Con panel. He told us that Gotham and Metropolis are sister cities, and they're separated by a bay. They're just like San Francisco and Oakland. Metropolis is your San Francisco, and Oakland is Gotham City, which is just on the other side of the bay. I think that is so clever, because they say that Metropolis is the upmarket Manhattan type of place, and it would make sense then. It must be the financial district. That's why you've got Wayne Financial in Metropolis. So if Wayne Financial is in Metropolis, Batman or Bruce Wayne does a lot of work in Metropolis. So it makes sense. I love it already. And then after that scene, it moves to right. We've got an individual walking in what seems to be a bush, and walking to a dilapidated building, which we are assuming is Wayne Manor, Wayne Mansion, and we're assuming that this is Alfred. He's going to the Wayne Mansion. And why is he going to the Wayne Mansion? We presume that Bruce Wayne has returned to Wayne Mansion. Why is Bruce Wayne at Wayne Mansion? Because under Wayne Mansion is the Batcave. So we assume that Alfred is on his way to talk some sense into Bruce Wayne. And so one of our questions already is, what has destroyed Wayne Mansion? What has destroyed Wayne Mansion? Was it the climax of the Killing Joke or Death in the Family? Was it Joker who destroyed it? Was it Bane? Was it one of his past enemies who destroyed it? Or was it just a random attack? Was it the Court of Owls who destroyed it? There's a lot of, and again, this is an Easter egg. This is what is called an Easter egg, okay? An Easter egg means that they are going to create a whole lot of stories around just the destruction of Wayne Mansion. I mean, it would be fun. Okay, it'll just be an easy mechanism, like when Zod and Superman were fighting, and the satellite from space fell. It fell on Wayne Mansion. That would just be an easy cop-out as well. But the question is, what has destroyed Wayne Mansion? My opinion, it's either the Court of Owls or Joker. Blame the Joker. Anything bad in Batman's life, blame the Joker. Blame the Joker, or blame, or just blame or blame the Court of Owls. Yeah. So now we move on, and we come into the next scene. Right, the next scene is the Batcave. From this shot, it looks like an office. At first, when I saw this part of the shot, I thought, okay, maybe after the building crashed, they had some access to the office building, but this is actually the Batcave. It's structured in an interesting and different way. There's a whole lot of water beneath, and to the right, it looks like that's where Robin's city is, and then there seems to be a Wayne logo under one of the on one of the floors, and it seems to also be a top. There seems to be a top there, which has the Batmobile covered.
That's how it starts.
That's how it starts. Man, I like that voice. Anyways, so now we see Bruce Wayne in the Batcave, and he is reading a message. It seems to be a letter. You can see there's a letter. There's a letter in his other hand, and it's written, Wayne Tower devastated, dozens killed. We can't see who has written it. It would be interesting if it was written by Clark Kent, but someone else has written it. The name, we can't see it. And it's actually from the Daily Planet, which is interesting. So what that means is Bruce Wayne is going to be reading from the Daily Planet, and he's going to be reading some of Clark Kent's articles. That's lots of possibilities there. And then in this note is written, you let your family die. It's written in red. Right, the majority of the internet church is saying that this is the Joker. I do not believe it is the Joker, because if I look at the other writing of the Joker and I look at this, I don't think it's the Joker. What I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to be the first one to take this risk and call it first. This note is not from the Joker. This note is from the Red Hood. Book it. Book it right now in Vegas. This was written by the Red Hood. That's why it's written in red, and that's why it's written to Bruce Wayne. This was written by the Red Hood. There is no way that Joker knows the identity of this Batman. I do not believe because if Joker knows who Bruce Wayne is, it's going to mess up the other movies that come. The only person who can know that Bruce Wayne is Batman, it's got to be Red Hood. Because who was Red Hood? Red Hood was Robin, Jason Todd. And Jason Todd, as we're going to see later, is part of this universe. And Jason Todd, his number one beef with Batman is that you allowed me to die and you did not take out the Joker. So it's the Red Hood writing a note, and he is bitter with Batman, and Batman is wondering who wrote this to me. I'm telling you now, Bruce Wayne, this was written by the Red Hood. Book it. Book it. Book it. Now we've got Bruce Wayne training. We got Bruce Wayne training. Again, I love this scene. He's pulling a tire. He's training on some CrossFit. I've got to get back in shape. Man, you can get back in shape all you want. Ain't no way you can beat up Superman. I'm just saying it like it is. Unless you got some kryptonite, you ain't beating up Superman as a human being. Or unless you got some kryptonite or some witchcraft. That's the only way you're gonna do it. Some kryptonite or some witchcraft. You gotta go to Haiti or Africa. Find some of these folks to give you some witchcraft. That's how you're gonna do it. So he's there, he's working out, and he's pulling this thing.
Good man.
Cruel. So we get to see Alfred there. He's been talking to Batman, and right now we're going into Gotham.
Vigilante, like a one-man reign of terror.
This bad vigilante is like a one-man reign of terror. So now we're getting an idea of this Batman. Nobody has seen him, and there's someone who is interested in him. And if you hear the voice very carefully, because I've watched Man of Steel 1,000,000 times, yes, I have. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that this line of this bad vigilante is indeed Clark Kent. That's Henry Cavill right there. So he is the one who is investigating about Batman, and this is very clever already, because the way it looks, Clark Kent doesn't like Batman, and Bruce Wayne doesn't like Superman. Let's get it on.
You don't get to decide what the right thing is. Nobody cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman.
Nobody cares about the Clark Kent taking on Batman. Perry White. That's very ironic because, hello, we do. That's why we're watching this movie. So that's that. But so in this line, it's Clark Kent. Clark Kent is interested in the bat, and we see this batarang. I mean, the batarang in that shot looks like that can kill someone. I mean, this Batman is serious. He's going to really cause a lot of pain. And I think one of the questions as well is with the way he has dealt with this individual. He seems to have branded the Batman logo on this person's chest, which is interesting. Is that torture? Is that what? Is that legal? Isn't that assault with assault GBH? Grievous bodily harm, and Clark Kent doesn't like that, and so now we're seeing that the differences between Batman and Superman are philosophical in terms of how to implement justice. And yeah, it's a philosophical difference in terms of how justice must be implemented in the context of your powers as a superhero. And then we see now Lois Lane.
This means something. It's all some people have. It's all that gives them hope.
I like that. Lois Lane is speaking to Superman, telling him that this is all that gives people hope. And she seems to be encouraging him. because he's dealing with a lot of pressure. People, here he is with his superpowers. He wants to do good. He wants to help, and it's not like he wanted to. It's not. I mean, if he discovered his powers, he discovered who he was in one day, and then the next day, after discovering his powers, just the next 24 hours after discovering that he's an alien with powers and he's got this magnificent suit, he goes home to see his mom, and on that day, who comes? Zod. And here come these guys to fight him. He didn't know. Okay, he knew when his dad told him that you're not from this world, but now he understands a bit more clearly after seeing Jor-El, understanding, wow, I can fly, and getting just a greater context of who he was. And the next day, he's in a battle. The 24 hours after finding out that, oh, your parents came from Krypton, all this stuff, and then the beacon is lit up by him moving the ship, and the next day, Zod is at his doorstep. So he's still trying to figure himself, and I think that's one of the things we're going to get. There's an experienced Batman and an inexperienced Superman, and a world that doesn't know what to do with him. So the conflict is coming from all these angles. He's inexperienced. He's got all these powers, but he's still learning them. He's learning how to use them or what to use them for. And you've got the government on your case. You've got the world on your case. You've got the media on your case. But here's Lois Lane. This is a great Lois Lane, okay? For all those Amy Adams haters, this is Lois Lane. And I like what she said at Comic-Con. She said that I've been dreaming of doing this since I was 5. So take that. So we get some context of some of the shots from the first trailer. Here we see him saving these people who seem to be in a flood. Initially, we didn't know what this was about. This shot with him, and where he's just in the sky and she's reaching out. For the first time, we're getting context, and listen to the music. I don't know if that's Junkie XL or Hans Zimmer, but if it's Junkie XL, man, Junkie XL, yeah. I'm gonna be a junkie of this song right here. So I'm loving the power. There's power in this music here. And in my view, the only thing I didn't like from the first teaser trailer was the music. The music, I think, if they'd used just a different set of music for the teaser, it could have been received even better. The music was just, I didn't like it. But now, the music here, my goodness, did they get it right? So now we've got Diane Lane, Clark's mom, giving him... so now, can you see there's two different opinions? The two women in his life. Lewis is saying, go for it. His mom is saying, nah. She's giving him an ambiguous answer, but she's got the same philosophy as her husband, where she's very reluctant for him to use it. And then we're seeing now some shots of Superman saving people. Yes, haters, Superman saves people. I saw a ridiculous meme where people are saying that Rocket Raccoon saved more people than Superman. A raccoon, get out of here. Superman saved a lot of people. When he was a kid, he saved those guys, those children in the bus. He saved those people at the oil rig, and many other people who they didn't show us. And oh, by the way, he saved the world when he destroyed the world engine. Okay, and he gave them his spaceship so that they could create. Oh, let's just leave that alone. But here's Superman saving people. He saves these people on he saves these people, and and then there's this particular shot I want to bring our attention to, which is this shot with the fire engine and this building and all this destruction. When I look at the color of this and the level of destruction behind there, I believe that this is an end. This is part of the end battle, because there's some destruction we're going to see further on in the in the trailer, and we're going to see Wonder Woman and all of that. But I think this is like one of those final closing battles, and I strongly believe that the woman he's holding in his hands right now is Lois Lane. We saw some set photos of Superman coming down a building holding Lois Lane in his arms, and I believe that right now my theory is this is an end battle and Lois Lane is in his hands. So after this, okay, he saves the spaceship. We saw that in the teaser trailer. You don't own this or nothing. Plot thickens. The senator, Holly Hunter, pays a visit to Lex Luthor. So they're going to be working together against Superman, which indicates to me that she was not satisfied with the outcome of the hearing. She still feels that the world or America needs extra protection from Superman. She's probably the one who gives Luthor classified information.
Senator, the devils don't come from hell beneath us.
Oh man. And then there's this shot where Superman is bowing before Lex Luthor, creepy looking Lex Luthor with his creepy hair. The first thing is this Superman is either under some type of mind control, or he's under the power of kryptonite and he can't move, or Lex Luthor has Lois Lane or his mama, somebody he loves, in a booby trap or something, and is compelling him to do something which might make him look bad to the public, and or maybe he's compelling him to go bring down the Batman. My theory is I suspect that this is actually a clone. I suspect this is a clone because when I look at the face, Superman's face here, he looks either angry or evil, and Superman ain't evil. So I suspect that this is a clone. I suspect that somehow they figured out how he's figured out how to make Bizarro. And then in the next shot, we've got Tai Okamoto. She's Lex Luthor's assistant. She'll be starring as Mercy Graves. So we've got Harley Quinn, who's from the animated series, an animated series character who's now become part of the movie universe. And now we've got Mercy Graves, who in the animated series is the assistant of Lex Luthor, and now she is going to be on the big screen too. And the soldiers are pushing the body of Zod, which indicates to me that they were either working on an anti-Superman weapon, or it's the usual government nonsense. We've got to figure out how to turn these things into weapons so that we can fight our enemies. The usual government and military nonsense, like the nonsense from Jurassic World. We've got to figure out how to turn these raptors into soldiers so that we can go and fight some terrorists. Come on, man. Give me a break. So I hope that wasn't the intent. And and if you remember in Superman Red Sun, Lex Luthor was given powers by the government to create anti-Superman weapons, and this is probably taken from Red Sun, where the government are working in collabo with Lex Luthor. They're working together, and like Starsky and Hutch working together, and here they're working on this, and they're probably working together on developing an anti-Superman weapon. And obviously someone in the government is rubbing their hands saying, after we use it for Superman, we'll use it for war. Yeah, the usual stuff. And then obviously we see the body of Zod. So this again begins to play into the other theory that Zod's DNA is going to be used to develop Doomsday. Because, Superman and Batman can't fight the whole movie, honestly. It's probably one or two fights. And then by the second fight, they're hugging. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. You my homie, man. And so after that, they need to fight something else. And they can't both be fighting Wonder Woman after that. So obviously they can't resurrect Zod. They don't want to pay him for another movie. But they don't want to pay Michael Shannon for another movie, obviously. But so yeah, I think the most ideal role would probably be Doomsday. I don't have a problem with Doomsday. Bring it on. Bring on Doomsday. Let the Trinity fight Doomsday. Let the Trinity fight Doomsday.
20 years in Gotham.
And then we see, ladies and gentlemen, back to my Red Hood theory. There we have a memorial to the dead Robin. On my theory, take this note. Red Hood, not the Joker, wrote that note to Batman. Robin is dead for the first time in a Batman movie. We've got a dead Robin, ladies and gentlemen, from the iconic death in the Family movie script where the Joker bludgeoned brutally. I don't know how they're going to do it, because if you're going to do it according to the comics, the movie's going to have to be R-rated, because that was one of the most gruesome deaths in a comic book, next to Rorschach, when Rorschach killed that guy with a butcher knife. This is one of the most brutal deaths I have ever seen in a comic book. In the context of the Batman Superman universe, there's obviously worse out there, but in terms of the Batman Superman world, this is one of the most brutal deaths, because he bludgeoned Robin with a crowbar and then blew up the spot and all. And I can't blame him, because it was put up to a vote, should Robin die or not, and the fans voted that Robin should die. So his blood is on your hands too, you comic book fans from the 70s who voted for this. His blood is on your hands too, okay? And so this suit, some people are asking, why doesn't it have color? It looks like it's been burnt. It looks like it was exposed. It looks like it's been burnt, and it's written, "Ha, the joke's on you, Batman." And Batman has put it there to torture himself, literally, to always remind himself. And this is probably the event which led Batman to quit, because we don't know how old Robin was. Let's just say Robin was, let's be generous, we can't say 12, we just say 16. You got the death of a teenager. Even if he was 18, he's still a teenager. You got the brutal death of a teenager who's been bludgeoned on your consciousness. So he probably retired. And in my view, I don't think we're going to see a Lazarus Pit, a Ra's al Ghul Lazarus Pit that resurrects Robin. I believe that he somehow survived the attack, but was scarred by the ensuing fire, and we shall see a deformed Red Hood. And that's why he's going to wear a mask, not because it makes fashion sense, but because his face is disfigured. That's what I believe we're going to get. And Batman walks in there, he looks at that, and in his hand he's holding probably what killed him. Right, and then we get our first shot of Gal Gadot looking great in her white suit. She's gonna be incredible, people. And then after that, Batman is talking to, it seems to be to Alfred, and he's saying that in 20 years in Gotham, how many people have stayed. So he's very cynical. He's very cynical, and he trusts nobody. And then from there we move to that shot from the teaser trailer where folks are bowing down to Superman. And then now, from this point, ladies and gentlemen, as Batman pulls the top to the Batman symbol, it gets real. The trailer just went into another gear. It took another level. It went for another level. And then he puts the signal up. The signal is up. And he's like, "Oh, come, Superman." And this is very significant in light of the concept which Zack came up with, that these are sister cities. So what this means is, ladies and gentlemen, if Batman puts up the bat symbol in Gotham, it's visible from Metropolis. So Superman can see it from Metropolis. So every time the bat symbol is used, Superman can see it. So it's going to be interesting when Commissioner Gordon is calling Batman. Will he also have a Superman symbol he can use every now and then, to say, or put both up? And will Superman be tempted every time he sees a symbol? And or will Batman say, oh, you handle Metropolis, I got Gotham, alright? So you handle your business there, I'll handle my business here. And anytime I need you, whenever that is, I'll send you an iMessage, or I'll Snapchat you, okay? I'll Snapchat you, or I'll hit you up on Facebook, But when the signal is up, it's all about me. But in the context of this, it seems to be Batman using the symbol not to call himself, but he is calling Superman to come and fight. Come and fight. And then there's this interesting line, where Ben Affleck, Batfleck, Bruce Wayne says, and I think it's a misdirection, because on the first part he says that this person has the power to wipe out the entire human race. And then on the second part, he says, and I have to destroy him. Now, and we're going to have to destroy him. Now, I believe that those are two different conversations. I believe, yes, in that context, he's talking about Superman. But in the second context, I think he's talking with Superman to destroy Doomsday. You got to understand these trailers. They're not going to give you and for once, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to give props to J.J. Abrams and to Zack Snyder for giving us trailers which don't sell the entire movie. Are you hearing me, Terminator Genesis? Are you hearing me, Jack Gyllenhaal Southpaw? Are you hearing me, Spider-Man 2? Are you hearing me, to a certain extent, Age of Ultron, where sometimes you give away too much. You give away too much, and you give away the entire movie in a trailer. Personally, I might not watch the third trailer. And in my view, if Doomsday is in the movie, please do not put him in a single trailer. Zack Snyder, do not allow Doomsday to feature in any of these trailers. And in your next trailer, just probably give us a view of Aquaman if he's going to be in it. But don't give us Doomsday. Just keep us floating, keep us confused. Right, and then we see this kid swimming. Is it Aquaman? Is it Kryptonite? It's either Kryptonite or Aquaman. But where the world engine was, I don't think you can swim like this there. It was somewhere down in the south. It seemed like a very cold environment. And then we got these people riding horses. I don't know who they are, riding horses like the Wild Wild West. I don't know if it's those Superman soldiers. And then, of course, we get another scene of the infamous death of Bruce Wayne's parents. I think they just did this to have it on record, and they'll use it over and over again and again. Get over it. And there we go, Bruce Wayne screaming. Those two bodies, they seem to be the Bruce Wayne family. Now, as you can see here, the next thing we've got is the Bat Jet. It's going into what seems to be a lot of destruction. So if you thought after Metropolis destruction is over, you're wrong. There seems to be a wildfire happening in either Gotham or Metropolis. I think Gotham is under fire, and we don't know what has caused this destruction. Could it be my Superman clone theory? Could it be Doomsday? Whatever it is, something's going down here. And then this is very interesting, because it seems that when at the Superman hearing, something's going to happen there. Something is going to happen at the hearing, and that's something is going to happen at the hearing, because we're seeing people who are protesting Superman. We got Lois Lane ducking. So yeah, something's going to happen. And then they give us Wonder Woman, and she clashes her bracelets, gauntlets, whatever they are, and she creates this, I don't know if it's an EMP or a power, some power explosion happens there. I think it's just some sort of EMP or some sort of shockwave I don't think it destroys. I don't think it has physical destruction. The Batmobile seems to be messed up behind her. So she's either fighting Superman or fighting one of the bads. And then we've got Desert Batman here. Oh, Desert Batman looks good, wearing this trench coat, and I don't know what's up with him. He seems to be fighting the Superman militia, and he seems to have broken the neck of one of the Superman militia. That's gonna be interesting. Y'all were complaining about Zod. Now if Batman kills someone, I want to hear those same folks complaining about Superman killing someone. But it's possible that it's Batman. It's possible that it's not Batman, because I'm looking at the chin. The chin doesn't look like a Batfleck chin. If it's my Red Hood theory, maybe it's Red Hood. I don't know, because we don't know who Scoot McNairy is playing. Scoot McNairy might be Nightwing. He might be anybody. But this might be Red Hood posing as Batman, or it might be Batman, but it just looks epic. And then Batmobile, and then Batman fighting. One of the things we're going to see in this movie is Batman's fight scenes are going to be elevated to another level. If you watched Watchmen, we got a glimpse. There wasn't a lot of fighting, but the fighting that we saw of Owl and Rorschach and Ozymandias, we got an idea of how Zack Snyder directs fighting in terms of not the sword and sandals from the 300, but superheroes who are not powered. And so we're going to see the fighting of Batman on a higher level. God bless Michael Keaton. God bless George Clooney, Val Kilmer, and Christian Bale. But we're going to see fighting now. We're going to see the real Batman fight. And yeah. And then Alfred obviously says something I like. He's not our enemy. I like that. He is not our enemy. Please, Batman, listen to Alfred. Probably at the 45-minute mark of the movie, listen to Alfred. Okay, at the 1 hour mark, listen to Alfred, and let's get over the fight, and let's work together and kick some Lex Corp butt. And then we've got here Lex Corp is on fire. That's interesting. I don't know what's happened there. Could it be an experiment gone wrong? Could it be a doomsday gone out of control? Whatever it is, someone here is coming on a motorcycle. I don't know what for. And Wonder Woman. Yes, okay, we get the kryptonite shot. We see the kryptonite shot. Lex Corp is on fire. Kryptonite shot. And then Batman, oh man, this was a beautiful shot of the Batman putting his boots in the chest of Superman. And then Wonder Woman is in a fight. Someone just gave her a karate kick or a punch of note. Again, very cleverly, they've hidden who she is fighting. I like that. And then we got Superman flying through this fire. This is now the final scene where there's all that fire. Superman is flying, and then he lets loose with his laser eyes. And then the next thing you're seeing, Batman. Now, for me, I've watched movies for a while. Folks think it's Superman who's shooting at Batman. I don't think so. I think it's the main threat, whatever the main threat is, whether it's a doomsday, because Superman ain't gonna kill Batman this way. Oh, and just look at, my goodness. Look at how Batman just uses the grappling gun. And I've been enjoying Batman Arkham Knight. That's what it reminds me of. It's just epic. Epic how he dodges that laser shot. And we're going to see it. We're going to see Batman. Oh, man. Dark versus Night. And I like this part. The red capes are coming. The red capes are coming. And then we got this epic shot. Larry Fong again. Thank you so much, man. We got this epic shot of the cape waving as Superman is walking to the Batmobile. And then Superman just rips the Batmobile open, and Batman stands up and says, "So what? What you want? What you want?" Holy Arkham Knight. This is an incredible trailer. And then it ends. The red capes are coming. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get an irritating Lex Luthor. We're going to have the kind of Lex Luthor where every time we see him on screen, we're going to feel like slapping him or throwing our popcorn at him. And I think that's very good, because he's going to play that role. He's going to be that kind of, there's certain villains when they come. There's villains who spook you out. There's villains who make you laugh. And then I think it's a gift. He's just got this irritating tone to his voice. The red capes are coming. The red capes are coming. Come on. And then, obviously, the final shot when Superman tears up the Batmobile. When will this happen? I think this is going to be very early in the movie. And I think it's Superman still. I don't know if Superman at this point is going to think, okay, this guy is not a bad guy. Okay, we can actually be friends. Or it's Superman saying, hey, listen, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. I don't know what it's going to be. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my analysis. Overall, this was an excellent trailer. And just book this trailer. Last time I checked, it was on 27 million views yesterday. And I think it's going to surpass the Star Wars trailer. Because this is, ladies and gentlemen, the best trailer this year was the Star Wars trailer. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now seen the best trailer of 2015. Deadpool is coming. Suicide Squad is coming. I know there's all these trailers coming, but X-Men Apocalypse trailer is coming. But this is the best trailer we're going to see this year. And I'm going to book it now. You can go to Vegas and bet on this one. This movie is going to make more than $1 billion. It's going in the $1 billion club. This movie is going to dominate the box office for weeks in March until April, until Civil War comes. The Civil War is what's going to knock this off. But Civil War is not going to make the same amount as Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Get ready. Justice is coming.